Shalom. Let me get straight into this lesson, but it's a lot going on, a lot to kind of cover. But I'm gonna keep it pretty simple in this video. I'm gonna get into this video right here. This guy, he'll be bringing out some pretty good content. And they said Benjamin Net, not a so-called Jew, has been unalived. According to reports. But we'll see. We'll see because there's a lot of with all the AI confusion and the deception that's going on. You got to be very careful what you put out here because there's so much deception and confusion. And I saw an AI looking video of him talking in a coffee shop, and stuff wasn't adding up with that because I think somebody posted that video was done in 2024. We'll see. But I'm gonna play this. But we're at a point of a chaotic time, and that's why you're seeing the gas prices go up and etc. It's going to be a very unstable time that we're going into. So let me get into this video.
Getting good. Netanyahu's dead. We're going to just throw it out there. The fucker's dead. You heard it here first. God bless Iran. Let's fucking go. So Parody Jeff, you guys aren't following Parody Jeff, right? This is the account that Laura Loomer used her connections within X to get deplatformed, his original one. He's the one who makes the funny faces. Loomer, absolute legend. You got to follow this dude. He goes by @ParodyJeffX. So give this man a follow. He says, breaking, Netanyahu absent from the latest State Military Council. Very unusual. Everyone looks tense and uneasy. What's going on? So I had this video translated in English. I'll let you listen to these guys. Tell me what you think. How are you having, in the middle of a war, with your Security Council, giving a press conference without your commander-in-chief, and we haven't seen Netanyahu in 7 or 8 days now, and the entire internet's claiming that he's dead? This is the same man who came out to address the conspiracy theories that everybody was blaming Israel for the assassination of Charlie Kirk 10 minutes after the dude was dead. His body hadn't even fallen off the chair yet, and Netanyahu was holding a press conference in the middle of carpet bombing Gaza, in the middle of a war. So don't give me the crap that he can't and he shouldn't be here right now. This is not normal. We haven't seen the dude. Well, last time I think we did see him there, carrying him out under a white cloth on a body bag on a stretcher. You can only hope, right? Check this video out.
The global and regional struggle against Iran, which is being led by US President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, is now escalating and entering the decisive phase that will continue for as long as it is required. I commend President Trump for the severe blow the United States military delivered last night to the Iranian oil industry. This is a fitting response to the mining operations in Hormuz and the extortion attempts by the Iranian terror regime. The Israeli Air Force also continues a powerful wave of attacks in Tehran and throughout Iran. Iran is actively employing regional and global terror and extortion tactics in an attempt to deter both Israel and the United States from continuing their ongoing campaign, but is being met with powerful, unyielding, and uncompromising steel resolve.
Netanyahu's dead. You have some random dude that nobody's ever heard of, like, Ben Grievy, who the head of Mossad, who steps in and fills Netanyahu's shoes, who has control over all the politicians. And what about all that blackmail, all the blackmail that was all sitting in the bunkers in Tehran? Because they wouldn't let that shit just nearly fall out. It was at Mossad headquarters, secured in their underground bunker. Probably only a handful of people in the world have ever had access to it. And Iran might have just blown that up. So how long before our politicians in Washington, D.C. are confident that blackmail is gone? Or maybe some rabbi in New York has it. I don't know.
Yeah, so we'll see how this all plays out. And I just want to make a disclaimer. I'm not saying that this is true. I don't know. Just bringing information to the brethren and the sisters. Because, we're in some very unpredictable time and unprecedented time that chaos is here and it's not going anywhere. So there's some other stuff that I want to get into, but I'm going to keep this lesson kind of simple. So check this out. So while you're seeing the jump in the gas prices and etc., it says gas prices remain volatile and are expected to stay elevated for at least several more weeks. And they lied to you and said, DT said it was going to be they'll be done in 3 weeks. And this is actually a distraction and this prophecy as well to get off the Epstein files. Let's get more into this. As long as security risks persist in the Strait of Hormuz, which handles 1/5 of global oil supplies, while the United States government plans to release 400 million barrels from emergency stocks to help stabilize the market. Price pressure continues due to the ongoing conflicts, disruption in global oil flows. So right here, price impact. Since the war began on February the 28th, national average gas price have jumped significantly, rising from under $3 per gallon to approximately $3.60. And I watched this video of this Jake woman crashing out because of the gas prices going up. But it go to show you that these people don't know, they don't have an idea of what's in the Bible. They don't have an idea about God, the God that they say they love and pray to. They don't have no idea who he is. And these people that's outside of the truth are completely lost. And you see the bugged out state of our people from one extreme to the next extreme, from the ninja that's claiming to be into Islam to the ninja into the black unconscious community. But right here, Exodus 15:3, it says Yahweh is a man of war. It says Yahweh is his name. So that's why you're seeing this conflict. You see, God, as you know, is a man of war, of terror. And these people don't know this because these people have been grossly misled with the all-loving deity, false God of Christianity, and that so-called white Jesus. Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai is putting on a show, if you can see. Jeremiah 50:24. And this ain't talking about the ancient Babylon. It's talking about America, but it's not going to say America. It says, I have laid a snare for thee. It says, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, which will be O America. Thou was not aware, thou art found, and also caught, because thou hast striven against Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. So what you did, Christianity has lied on the Most High character. They made him to be a passive power, an all-loving so-called God. They made the Messiah to be a so-called white man that look like a woman. They're going to have to pay for all this. But that's, they have turned everything upside down. They have given you a skewed understanding about the Bible. And most of our people have no understanding about the God that they say they believe in. They don't have no knowledge of him. But a snare is laid because you see the domino effect with everything. It's a lot of consequences of all this going on. Now the Strait of Hormuz is pretty much shut down. And it's going to affect other things too. Iranians and Persians are not playing. They got like a stockpile of these missiles. I saw a new missile that they launched the other day. It's devastating. It says, what is a snare? A snare is a device, often a noose, used to catch small animals. It says, any trap, entanglement, or deceptive situation that catches someone. So right here, when you go back, the Most High has laid a snare for America. Now they into this conflict because, you know what I'm saying, and this conflict is going to have a domino effect, which you're seeing. It says, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken it in that snare, that trap. Let's go here. And these Americans, these bone monkey-minded Americans, don't have any clue what is going on. They're completely like I think that's in Second Ezra. Great confusion is on the people. And that's why you got all this speculation going on. And people don't know that this is directly linked into the Bible. That it's literally prophecy going on. But they don't know. It says earthly kingdoms. And these people, one thing I was thinking about, I was meditating today. I was thinking about how blessed we is to be able to see past the flesh. What do I mean when I say that? So you got people in the world in the cardinal flesh, which we in the flesh as well, but all they can see is just what's in front of them, what they see every day. They just strive to be rich in this world. They have a name in this world, a reputation in this world. That's all they see. They zombies. They spiritually dead. They just going through this life pertaining only to the flesh. And they're already dead and they don't know it yet. So we really are truly alive because we have the spiritual knowledge to know that this ain't all that it is. That kingdoms rise and fall. Everything has a means to an end. This captivity that we're in is coming to an end. It says earthly kingdoms. And you got to really understand what all this stuff means. You can't just watch the lesson and move on. You got to be able to understand what's being said, what's being stated. It says earthly kingdoms often believe they will last forever. So these jakes, when I say jakes, because there might be some new people watching this lesson, I'm talking about the so-called blacks, Hispanic, and Native American that go back into the nation of Israel. Them are the real Israelites. And you have Israelites scattered among the heathen nations that look like the heathens in some cases. Check this out. And this is why brothers and sisters are spiritually invested, because we know it's a means to every end. The only thing is eternal is this doctrine. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. It says, earthly kingdoms often believe they will last forever. That's why Jake set up, they try to build generational wealth here. They don't get it because all they can see is this place. They can't see past America. It says because they exalt their own power, wealth, and military might. Is this not talking about Babylon, America? Failing to recognize Yahweh's supreme authority. In contrast, a biblical worldview posts that all human empires are finite, and destined to fade. According to prophecies such as in Daniel 2:44, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah will eventually replace all human systems with an everlasting divine kingdom that cannot be destroyed, establishing ultimate sovereignty over history. So he's going to set his people up, the Israelites, to rule over the earth among the elect, starting at them. And then the rest of the 2/3 that come back in the kingdom. But they're going to be destroyed on this side. And that's why we see past America. The Lord gave us a spiritual ability to see past what we see in front of us. These people in the world don't have that ability to do that. Like you got somebody that's a fast runner, right? They can outrun everybody. They got that ability, right? That ability wasn't given onto everyone, right? Just making a short analogy. So the spiritual insight is a blessing. Let me go here. Because these people are spiritual sheeple. And that's why you see all on TikTok, Facebook, all these different apps, Jake and the people of the world involved in much folly. They don't give a damn that their life has an end. That don't affect them until they dead. Spiritual sheeple is a derogatory term used to describe individuals within spiritual wellness of religious communities who blindly follow. What is this, man? Salakia about that. Let me see. I was trying to go to another definition that brought this up, but basically, to be sheeple is to be docile. That's the point I was trying to make. Spiritual sheeple. And I guess you can apply this to Christianity and these other different denominations, but I was trying to go with another angle with this. Salakia. Whatever. Let's keep moving. 1 second. All right, so it says at the top, to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Remember, it starts in the mind, the way you think, because the way you think leads to action. A promise from Romans 8:6 means setting one's thoughts on Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah will, which is prophecy, for this place to be destroyed, we be delivered, and we get our kingdom. So, not to go too much into this, but the contrast Romans 8:6 contrasts a carnally minded, a mind governed by the flesh. You hear this? Jake is not proactive. Jake, our people is reactive. When things shit hit the fan, that's when they react. You're supposed to be proactive, right? That's why you're in the truth, to see things before they happen and brace yourself, all right? I didn't want to make this too long. Hopefully this lesson was edifying. Call Allah Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah Bahashim Rachat Kodash. Shalom.